Well, it's Tuesday, and you all know what that means. As you know, NXT has continued to draw battle lines, of course, for NXT Heatwave. So a lot of things is going to happen. So I can't wait to review what's going to happen in this particular day on NXT. We do have the main event featuring Dark State taking on Obafemi, Javon Evans, Trick Williams, and Moose. So this is going to be an interesting 8-man tag team match. And of course, we have Jay-Z Jane and Fallon Henley taking on Lola Vice and Kelani Jordan. And plenty of things are taking place as well. But first things first, as you all know, I decided to catch up with what's been going on with Stardom with their latest round robin tournament, the 5-Star Grand Prix. Now, many of you already know this. We already reviewed, of course, the opening round match, day 2, day 3, and day 4. However, we're going to be doing day 5, a 2-show event in one day, which is, of course, the afternoon show and the evening show. So, of course, they'll be divided, and one show will be, of course, the Blue Star block and the Red Star block in the other. So we're going to see what happens until then. But, of course, we will cap up our episode, as usual, with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events and promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world, pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the jibber jappers. School is in session, so let's begin first things first with the afternoon show by Stardom in the 5-Star Grand Prix Day 5. Okay guys, Day 5 of the 5-Star Grand Prix. This took place recently on the 3rd of August, and this was an afternoon show of a 2-show 1-day event that took place. But this time we're going to focus, I believe, on the Blue Star block. So let's get to it. Now, we opened up with the Red Star block A, Blue Star A block. We have Yuria Him versus Aya Sakura. Now, of course, this is a very interesting matchup because, of course, it's obvious for those who follow these girls on their experiences. You can tell that Aya Sakura had the necessary experience. Sorry, folks, this is my fan. So anyway, you all know that, of course, Aya Sakura was going to pick up the win since she has a bit more experience than Yuria Him, and she did with those front kicks that she did, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she picked up her first 2 points with the total of 2, just 1 win so far. And as for Yuri Him, well, she continues at the bottom with just 0. Now we jump in with the Blue Star Bleed block. We have Hanako versus Momo Kogo. Now it doesn't take a genius how this is going to be. Now we know that Momo Kogo doesn't exactly have a good track record, despite the fact that some people love her, some people just don't know what to make of her, that sort of thing. But as for Hanako, we all know what she's capable of. We have seen her grown up since day one. She's debuted, and now she has been one of the most dominant wrestlers who actually with an interesting experience up to 3 years, you probably would think, oh, this is going to be interesting. And that's exactly what she did. She used that same submission move that she learned from Shinsuke Nakamura, and just like that, she gained her next 2 points with a total of 4. Now we jump back with the Blue Star A block. We have Raka versus Saya Ida. Now, of course, these two ladies are no strangers with each other. If you all remember, Raka used to be a member of Stars, and I'm sure Saya Ida has been looking forward to get even with her. Now, this is a battle of the Haas fight. As you know, these two girls are, in fact, powerhouses in their own way. But, of course, when it comes to Raka as a member of Hate, you know she would definitely try to cheat. But in the end, it was Saya Ida who picked up the win when she pinned her. 1, 2, 3. It was over. So, the total points of this is with Raka with 1 point, coming from that draw she had with Bozilla. As for Saya Ida, she finally get her first 2 points. Now we jump back to the Blue Star Bleed block. We have Konami versus Rana Yagami. Now, for those who may not know this, I'm sure many of you may remember Konami used to be a member of God's Eye until she betrayed God's Shooty during that tag team match. And I'm sure Rana Yagami hasn't forgotten what she did. So, in a way, as you all remember, Konami defeated Sareee as revenge for the loss of the IWGP Women's title. But I don't think Shuri would appreciate that, calling it the You Avenged Her, because in a way it's like, bitch, you backstabbed me in the back. I don't think I appreciate your revenge. But I would say Rana Yagami, to me, in my opinion, got her revenge for Shuri when she defeated her, because it was an unexpected pinfall, and I don't think Konami expected it either. And of course, I'm sure Rana Yagami is laughing her butt off, saying, I got you, biatch, for what you did. So I'm sure it's one of those great moments. But as the point system, both ladies end up, of course, with a total of 2 points. So each of them. So basically, they haven't advanced even further that much yet. Now let's jump back to the Blue Star A block. We have Bozilla versus Miyu Amasaki. Now, of course, it doesn't take a genius on this type of match how this is going to go. As you all know, Bozilla is a very strong individual, not to mention when it comes to her line of work, you know she toys with her prey, and that's exactly what she does. But however, her usual ways to finish off the match is either by a pile driver or of course, running powerbomb or sit-down powerbomb. But she used this time to finish off Amasaki with the Styles Clash. Yes, the same Styles Clash that we know from the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. So just like that. As for the points, we have Bozilla right now with a total of 5, of course with 2 wins and 1 draw. And as for Amasaki, well, she's still at the bottom with 2 points, so she hasn't been able to advance more just yet. As we catch up with the 5-star Grand Prix, we'll see how things will go from there. Now we jump back to the Blue Star B block. We have Momo Watanabe versus, of course, Suzuki. Now, of course, this was one of those matches you definitely want to see because, as you know, Momo being a tough person that she is, so is Zuzu. But the only difference in this, Momo had help from F and Hate to ensure she gets the 2 points. And that's exactly what she did. But she applied, of course, the Peach Sunrise, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Momo picked up the win with the total points of 6. Leaving Zuzu with the total points of 4. Now I think we have 2 more matches. Yes. We still continue with we got the Blue Star A block. We have Ami Sori and versus Sayuri Ano. So of course it's a very interesting match. I mean, Sayuri Ano is a very interesting wrestler. We know she has her own way of being who she is. As for Ami Sori, also a powerhouse. But of course, the obvious question is who's going to walk out of this one, because both ladies, I believe, were tied at 4. But in the end, it was Amisuri with the like a thunderbolt onto Saudi Anu, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And then there was a post-match promo between Saudi and Anu. I don't know exactly what they said, but yes, that's what happened. Now our next match, which is our main event, is the Blue Stars B block. Of course, we have Sareee versus Hina. Now, for those who don't know, she's the actual heel in Stardom. Now, if you guys are big fans of Sareee, I was like, what? Why? Why she's the heel? Well, it's because she took criticism on Stardom, saying that they don't act like pro wrestlers. I mean, all of that. But of course, Hina was the homegrown girl. Basically, people were cheering her on, but unfortunately, it didn't do any favors for her because it was Sareee that picked up the win with the double foot stomp, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Sareee gained 2 more points with a total of 4. As for Hina, well, she's still at the bottom with just 0. So we'll see how things will progress from here on out. But as of right now, we're done with the afternoon show of the 5-Star Grand Prix Day 5. Let's move on to the evening show. Okay, we continue with more with Stardom of Day 5 of the 5-Star Grand Prix. We're now doing the evening show, and this took place also on August 3rd, in case anybody asks. Now, we are going to be focusing on the Red Stars, so buckle up. So let's begin with the Red Star A block. Our first match, we have Waka Tsukiyama versus Saya Kamitani. Now, it doesn't take a genius what this match is going to be like, because I'm sure Waka hasn't forgotten either. For those who may not know this or may not remember, or those who do remember, that Waka had a soft spot for Tam Nakano before she left the Cosmic Angels. I'm sure Waka hasn't forgotten what Kamitani did to her. I'm sure she was looking for a bit of revenge in her memory. But however, Kamitani, being devious and dangerous, well, she actually put her out of her misery, but by applying the Star Crusher on her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Kamitani has the total of points of 8, currently undefeated. As for Waka, well, she remained at 0. Now let's jump out and move into the Red Star B block. We have Natsuko Tora versus Rian. Now, of course, it's no secret about these two when they actually faced off each other. For those who remember, Natsuko Tora was looking for ways to get in the mind of Maika, even though she's not involved in this. Well, Rian hasn't forgotten the humiliation she suffered, but I have to say, this match she showed a little bit of improvement from the last time they faced off. But it was not enough. Of course, Natsuko Tora picked up the win when she applied the big splash, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Natsuko Tora gained 2 new points with a total points of 6, leaving, of course, Rian still at the bottom with a total of 0. Now jump back to the Red Star A block. We have Azusa Inaba versus Lady C. Now, of course, Lady C, as you know, we know she uses her height and strength in order to pick up the win. But as Azusa Inaba, being a member of Hate, she could use her ways to cheat her way, or use her background in martial arts, which has always been helpful. But in the end, it was Lady C who picked up the win when she gave her the big boot, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Lady C gained 2 more points with a total of 4, leaving Azusa Inaba with a total of 2. Now jump back to the Red Star B block. We have Sayaka Kurara versus Starlight Kid. So of course, a very interesting match. I mean, we've seen Kurara, how much she has grown. Many people are giving her high praises, since she first debuted. But she's facing a wrestler who, as you know, has a deep connection to someone that she holds dear to her heart. Of course, that was Tam Nakano. But of course, Starlight Kid has to show her exactly what she needs to do. And that exactly is by, of course, showing how to dismantle her opponents. And she did that by using a moonsault, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Starlight Kid picked up her next 2 points with a total points of 5, meaning she had a draw match with Azumi, and of course, she has a total of 2 wins, if I'm not mistaken. And as for Kurara, well, she only has a total points of 2. That was her match against, of course, I believe it was with Rani Agami, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, but yes. So let's move on. Red Star A block, we have Yuna Mizumori versus Mei Sita. Now, it's no secret for those who know, Mei Sita being the current high-speed champion, Yuna Mizumori has been aiming for that belt for a long time. But this was not about the belt. Maybe this will be an opportunity for Yuna Mizumori to finally get that opportunity that's been denied to her. As you know, she wants to get her hands on this belt and finally picked up the win. And that's exactly what she was going to do. And she applied the Supergirl, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, finally she gets the first 2 points. And, of course, she has pinned the high-speed champion, so she could cash in an opportunity for this belt whenever she can. But I'm sure she'll think about this very carefully. Now, our next 2 matches are part of the Red Star B block. We have our first match, Natsupoi versus Azumi. Now, it's no secret these two ladies, they know each other too well, not to mention being opponents on various occasions due to their momentum high speedsters. As you know, former high speed champions. That is going to play it out pretty well. But in the end, it was Azumi who got the advantage by applying the Azumi Sushi, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's over. Azumi picked up her next 2 points with the total points of 5 from the 1 draw and now 2 wins. As for Natsupoi, she is still at the total points of 4. So we'll see what happens there. And as we continue on part of the Red Star B block, we have Rina versus Tomoka Inaba. Of course, it's no secret about these two ladies. As you know, Tomoka Inaba and her sister is, of course, aligned with Rina. So that kind of sets it up. And not to mention, Rina's twin sister is aligned with Tomoka Inaba, Hina, our current future champion. So that kind of sets it up. But as you know, I don't think Tomoka Inaba has ever faced Rina before, because as you know, there was a recent match with both Inaba's sisters, Hanan and Hina, faced off in a who's the far more superior, either karate or judo, and of course Rina was not involved in that match. But in the end, it was Rina, as you know, who is now the rising star, picked up her next 2 points with the Pink Devil. Just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's over. And of course, as you know, she's currently, just like Kamitani, undefeated. And of course, she spread out a message to anybody telling them that she's going to be the one to dominate the entire tournament. But keep in mind, guys, just because they're undefeated doesn't mean they'll win throughout the whole thing. There have been instances in the past, of course, that they will lose 1 or 2 matches, depending on who they fight. But we'll see what happens. Now, our main event, this one's an interesting one, is the Red Star A block. We have B Priestley versus Hana. Now, I'm sure everybody may know that Hana may know B Priestley on various occasions, you know, since, as you all know, B Priestley has been part of Stardom in the past, and she has been in the promotion for nearly 6 years, so that kind of sets it up there. But I think many people might have assumed that B Priestley was definitely going to be the one to, of course, pick up the win. But nope, it was Hanan with the backdrop driver onto her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Hanan picked up her next 2 points with the total points of 5, including the draw and now 2 wins. As for B Priestley, she's currently now with the total points of 6. And of course, there was a post-match promo, Hanan to B, and I'm sure B was happy to see her again, of course, because as you all know, she's currently unaffiliated with any faction. But Hanan had the pleasure to close out the show, and just like that, it was over. So we will continue with more of Stardom's 5-star Grand Prix. But as of right now, let's end this episode, the reviews, with, of course, one more with NXT. So let's get to it. Our final review, NXT. We opened up, of course, with Hank and Tank, our current NXT Tag Team Champions. As you know, they were making their way to the venue. However, General Manager Ava was trying to tell them not to get involved in this whatsoever, because, as you know, Hank and Tank and Supercon, they were blindsided by Darkseid. However, of course, there was a moment where, of course, was winking on her eye because there was something in her eye, and they thought, you guys are going inside to take care of it. So they're like flipping the whole script on this, which I thought it was really hilarious, but we'll see how things will go from there. Now, our opening match, we have Lash Legend versus Nia Jax. Now, of course, this is the battle of the dominance. Now, the real question we ask ourselves, did Nia Jax look at Lash Legend as a threat? it's a possibility because we've seen those type of factions. I mean, if you guys ever seen Star Trek in the with Klingons, they always precede whatever inferior race they attack them because they were a threat, because it makes them look weak. And I think that's kind of like a similarity right there, if you guys ever followed that analogy. But I think that's what it was. Now, many people might have assumed the Lash Legend would have picked up the win since she is the homegrown girl, but Nia Jax was able to take her down with the Annihilator, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Now, we did see an interview with Dark State. It's their first time. As you know, they got their sights set on their opponents in the main event. Javon Evans, Moose, Obafemi, and Trick Williams. And, of course, the upcoming tag team match at, of course, Heatwave. So we'll see how things will go from there. Now, Chelsea Green, as you know, got in the face of Tavion Heights about finding a partner that will deal with both Chelsea Green and Ethan Page. So they try to find out who is more athletic or more of the same kind of standards as her. So they had Kendall, what's her name? Oh yeah, Carmen Petrovic, but she's like, nope, because she's Canadian. So they targeted Kendall Gray instead. And even though during that time, Hank and Tank tried to sneak their way around dressed up as girls, but it didn't work either. But apparently she put her in the match against Alba Fire, and we'll get to that in a bit. Now, our next match, we have Charlie Dempsey taking on Say His Name and He Appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. So yes, now if you guys remember, Joe Hendry showed up last week coming out of the refrigerator. And of course, this is where the match heads up. Now, of course, Charlie Dempsey has not been himself ever since Tavion Heights left, Miles born. But Joe Hendry has decided to say, we believe as always. And he took out Charlie Dempsey with the standing ovation. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, backstage, of course, we did see Lola Vice and Kelani Jordan warming up for their match against Fatal Influence. But of course, as you know, these two ladies will be involving themselves later on at some point. See who will be challenging Jane for the NXT title. But however, Jada Parker said, look, I got my money bet on you guys to win against Fatal Influence. But after that, it's everybody for themselves. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, we did see Josh Briggs come out to do a little promo. As you know, his little feud with Inamura continues on. And of course, Inamura got in his face, talking back to him. And then later we did see a bit of a brawl, what I thought we kind of figured was going to happen. So it was no crazy. Now, we did see Kelly Kincaid do an exclusive interview with Jordan Grace, talking about Blake Monroe, talking about, why she doesn't see her as the NXT Women's Champion. And Jordan Grace kind of told her that, she was right about certain things about herself, about looking herself in the mirror. Because if you guys know this, Jordan Grace had a different type of look before who she is now. So, but she is determined, of course, to kick her in the A. And of course, the interview was also watched by Blake Monroe and Ava. So Ava, of course, told her that she knows what she's doing. But so we'll see where that leads them. Now, we did see another interview with Fatal Influence. Seems things are not going well for them, of course. Seems like the cracks of Fatal Influence has been happening, and Lane Luck showed up once again. Now, I'm not sure if Lane Luck wants to join Fatal Influence. That's something we probably will see at some point. Now, we did see, of course, Fallon Henley and Jay-Z Jane, along with Jasmine Nix, making their way to the ring. They take on Lola Vice and, of course, Kelani Jordan. But in the stands, we did see Masha Slamovich watching. So, of course, things could go out of hand, not to mention. But there was a moment where, of course, Jasmine Nix kind of fumbled the ball. And just like that, it was a back fist by Lola Vice to Jay-Z Jane, but giving Kelani Jordan time to apply the split moonsault. And just like that, it was over. 1, 2, 3, done. Now, we did see Obafemi giving a little bit of a pep talk, not acting as a leader, but kind of clarifying certain things, like saying, we're not friends, we can admit that, but we are alphas of our own species. So that sort of thing. And then, of course, once again, Hank and Tank tried to sneak their way through around, but Mr. Stone dealt with it. Like, what the hell is these guys doing here? So, you know what they want. They want to get their hands on Dark State, which is obvious. Now, our next match, we have Kendall Gray versus Alba Fire. But of course, this match was going to go into Alba Fire because Alba Fire played dirty and applied the gory bomb, and just like that, it was over. So it was like 1, 2, 3. However, Ethan Page was like, Tavion Heights, you call this the best. I feel sorry because now I knows. But later, Tavion Heights says, look, she was not the actual partner I was thinking of. I respect Kendall Gray. I respect her for what she does, but she's not the actual partner, because the actual partner I was thinking of is an Olympic gold medalist, and he was referring to Tyra May Steele, and she just took out both, of course, Alba Fire and Piper Nevins. I don't think nobody saw this whatsoever, so it just appeared now that Chelsea Green and Ethan Page should be worried with the partnership between both Taya May Steele and Tavion Heights. So we'll see how that goes. Now, once again, as I mentioned, Fatal Influence, of course, are dealing with their fallout, a bit of a cracks. But, however, Ava, along with that little chihuahua from the Elegance brand, apparently decided that there's going to be a 6-woman tag team match between, of course, them and the Elegance brands. And, of course, the chihuahua tells her that sooner or later that TNA Knockouts World title will be Elegance. So we'll see what happens from there. Now, Chelsea Green was a bit of shock, like she could not understand how did they miss it. Why didn't suspect Tyra May Steele the obvious choice that, of course, Tavion Heights was going to have, on his corner. I mean, look, no one suspected it. I don't think anybody did. But obviously, it was something that I don't think anybody suspected. But I think Chelsea and Ethan Page are a bit worried. So we'll see what happens till then. Now, our main event, we did see Javon Evans, Moose, Trick Williams, and Obafemi taking on all members of Dark State. Now, I have to say, the majority of the parts, we did see some great moments between all four, Obafemi, Trick, Moose, and Evans. But however, there was a bit of a miscommunication coming from both sides, from these guys. And then, of course, the Trick, Javon Evans was the one who was standing alone, and Trick Williams didn't do nothing. He just let Javon Evans fed to the wolves, and this allowed, of course, for Darkseid to apply the toss power bomb on them, and then just like that, it was over. But Hank and Tank decided, you know what, it's time for a whoop ass, and that's exactly what they did when they approached the ring. And of course, all hell broke loose. So we'll see what happens until then. But as you know, next week we will see certain matches, a number one contendership between Javon Evans and Trick. Whoever walks out will face Obafemi at Heatwave, which of course Obafemi agrees to. So we'll see what happens in then. So a lot of things is going to happen. So let's end our episode, of course, with some news updates. So welcome to our news updates. So let's begin, of course, as usual, upcoming events. Now, GCW has some interesting updates coming for some September events. As you know, there's the Evil Deeds show taking place in Detroit on the 12th of September. It was announced that we have Mance Warner will take on Beastman. So that's going to be a very brutal match. And then, of course, the following day on the 13th in Indianapolis, for Rumble on the River, we have One Call Manders versus the Heavyweight Hustle, Calvin Tankman. Now, as you all know, you guys remember there was a show that Taka Michinoku and Taichi do together called TakaTaichi. Well, they're actually going to do a tour in Osaka on the 25th of August at the 176 box, and 2 matches have been announced. So we have wrestlers from GTO versus Stardom. Now, 2 matches have been announced for that. The first one is a tag match. We have Azusa Inaba versus AOI to take on Sayaka Kurara and Akira Kuragani. Now, I have to say, this is a preliminary match between both Azusa Inaba and, of course, Sayaka Kurara, because Kurara will be facing her for the GTO Girls Championship. And the other match is Tomoka Inaba versus Kikyo Furuzawa. So basically, that's pretty much what's happening. Now, as you know, Canadian promotion Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling will do their next show in September called Sacred Ground, and this is going to happen on the 5th of September. Names have been mentioned who's going to participate. We have Priscilla Kelly, formerly known as Gigi Dolan, Shotzi Blackheart, the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson, and Doc Gallows, our current women's champion, Giselle Shaw. Now, however, matches have been announced for this event. The Good Brothers will take on the Flatliners. I don't know who those guys are. And then, of course, the PWA Champions Grill match. The current champion, Rohan Raja, will take on Bishop Dyer. So that's going to happen as well. And then, of course, Taichi will do his second annual event called the Superhuman Taijji Ishimori Goes Ridiculous 2, which is, of course, an event where he is involved in all matches. And it's going to happen on October 7th in Corkin Hall. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen on this one. Now, on to some developments here. Daddy Magic, as you may or may not have heard, this was reported by Fightful Select, that he signed a long-term deal extension with AEW. So it's good to hear that he is going to stay. Ice Ribbon has announced, unfortunately, a brand new trainee who was supposed to debut on August 31st, named Miu Noe. Apparently will be out of action due to she suffered a stroke. Currently, she's hospitalized, so it's kind of scary to hear that. She looked kind of young, but I hope things will go well. And I'm not sure what's going to happen to her. If she can't go on, then I'm sorry that I had to say this, that there's probably she can't wrestle due to health concerns. It has been known that happened, especially in Japan, guys. I've seen it, I heard it, I read it, and that's how it goes. And I'm really sorry about that. Now, recently, as you know, Samoa Joe is out of action for quite some time, and apparently he injured his foot during season 2 of Twisted Metal. So that's pretty much what happened. So I don't know how long he's going to be out, but yes. Finally, it turns out that Sareee has spoken about certain things. As you all know, Sareee is now taking her villain role in Stardom very, very nicely. But she also explained how when she went to WWE, they wanted her to do that, to be a villain. And then instead they gave her this schoolgirl anime character, which of course, kind of, that's why the reason. But her playing the villain and in Stardom is pretty good. I mean, outside Stardom, she's just a good guy. But in Stardom, she's the villain. So it's kind of interesting to hear something like that. But we'll see what happens with Sareee. But as of right now, we are done with everything, so let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode coming up. As you probably know, we have AEW Evolve and, of course, AEW Dynamite. As you know, Dynamite are on the road to Forbidden Door, so anything could happen for that. And also, as you know, we're getting closer to the end of the G1 Climax, so I can't wait to review that. So stay tuned for that. But as of right now, we'll end things right here. And until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.